So a misconception about evolution is this statement: humans are the most highly evolved organisms in the world. So this is really tempting to believe because we are at the top of the food chain everywhere we go, because we populate many different continents, because we're really smart. But ultimately, this is kind of a nonsensical statement, the statement that humans are the most highly evolved organisms in the world. And I say that because this term, highly evolved, doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really make sense. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. We'll take a peek at what I mean by that. So the classic safari lion chasing a zebra kind of example here. Okay, so we got all these zebra, they're hanging out. Oop, that's the wrong thing. They're hanging out, and they're just kind of munching on some grass. We'll say this is grass. This is grass. How about that? They're munching on the grass, hanging out, and life is good. And then all of a sudden, a predator comes around. So this lion is stalking up to these zebras, and they whip their heads around, and they see the lion, and they start to run away. So all our zebras start to run away from the said lion, him and all the grass, and one of them is a little bit slower than all four of them. So this lion, he runs and he catches and he devours that zebra. So that zebra is gone, and while he's devouring this zebra, all these guys make it to safety. Okay? So they're gone. They're safe. So what happens is that this zebra that's in this lion's belly now, he was not able to reproduce. He was a young zebra, and he died, and he was slow, so he couldn't make any slow zebra babies. But these guys, these faster zebras over here, they got away, and they were able to reproduce and make fast zebra babies. And so the population of zebras, let's say it's here, right? Population of zebras was full of really fast, big circles, and really slow, smaller circles. And the slower zebras tended to get eaten by lions. So they get eaten, and eventually all you have are fast zebras left, and they pass on their genes, and the next population is full of fast zebras as well. And that's kind of how evolution works. So we started with this example, or we started with this misconception that humans are the most highly evolved species. And the reason why that's false, the reason why we can't say that, is because that implies that there's an evolutionary ladder. There's an evolutionary ladder, and at the top are humans. People are right here, and right here is like gorillas or something, and down here is, I don't know, like snakes or whatever you think is the most successful, probably bacteria, honestly. And so that idea of something is more highly evolved than another implies that there is a ladder, that we're going in a certain direction, and that evolution is taking us somewhere. In reality, that's not true. So let's take a look at this picture here. We've got a picture of some fish, and these fish right here, the ones with eyes, moved into a really dark cave. So let's say this is the cave, and they immigrated into this cave, and then they were trapped there, okay? They were stuck there, but they were able to reproduce, they were able to survive, it was fine. And over thousands of years, eventually, the fish grew to look like this. The fish lost their eyes, they lost a lot of the pigment, see how much lighter he is than he is? Lost a lot of the pigment in the skin, lost their eyes, and you could say evolution made them look like this. If I had to say, if you had to use the language most highly evolved, quote unquote, you would say that it's these guys, when in actuality this fish was the one that evolved from this fish. So this whole concept that humans are the most highly evolved species just doesn't make sense, because there's no such thing as a more highly evolved species than another, because evolution has no direction.